is the first poem in the book I published with me and Harry, called Running Parallel. It's like all our things, it's absolutely gorgeous, but we were travelling around a lot. I said we should do a book together, and he's like, oh yeah. So we're both from like a similar area. Turns out we grew up within 10 minutes of each other, but didn't meet till 2012. And so we took some photos, went on a sort of, you know, nostalgia trip, and I really liked my photo, and he liked his photo, and I was like, so why don't we take the book? So if you pick the book up, his picture's there, and turn it upside down, my half the book's there. So I made her £8 for 2 books worth of poetry. Brilliant poetry as well, even if I do say so myself. So this is the first poem in the Collect My Part, called As the Sparrow Flies. I shall do this really effeminate hand action because most of my poems are really short and you'll know when to clap. Or groan, do one of the two. As the sparrow flies, there's a pattern of light outlined against the darkness, the shadow of a body in motion. Who can say where it will stop, this movement, if it has any purpose at all? There's a house at one end of the road, a house at the other, but nowhere to call home in between. Shadows lengthen beneath the sun, then fade or are engulfed by night. Still the body longs for company, the mouth for treats. But what of the creature trapped inside? Like paws from the eyes as the hands move in an effort to stop time once and for all. His entire life a moment of history, past. Then the heartbeat slows down, the others gather speed around him. What was once shadow is now revealed as light. So the first section of my book is called The Agony of the Everyday, but there is no actual poems called The Agony of the Everyday, because I'm getting a proper book out with Red Squirrel in a year or so called The Agony of the Everyday, and I've got a whole series of poems cunningly called The Agony of the Everyday. If you go on Instagram and type in Morbid the Poet, there's a load of photos called The Agony of the Everyday as well, where I just walk around taking photos of walls and stuff. It's pure agony. That there are slow afternoons with a room in shadow, reading by lamplight while you wait for something to happen. There's sometimes, more often than not, nothing happens and the days carry you along, an indifferent passenger on a dull car ride. The everyday. Thursday morning, the blue light of day begins to blur the edges of the curtains, and the cat, ever watchful, what peers through a gap in them. Beyond the scratch of Mary's pen strokes, I can hear my son stirring in his bed, a sudden symphony of grunts and groans. Kids, eh? A lot love them. Man's left home last September and moved to Stoke Uni. I managed to wangle me and Harry a region in Stoke so I could go and see him, which was nice. They would come down, Sandy went, alright, you bring me all these DVDs down, Dad? I said, alright, so I wrote this about him. And it will happen, something like this, on a day like any other, having just written a poem about how old my father looks, but I will turn and look into the eyes of my son and see the same thoughts written there. Spring day. I walk a lot around. I mean, Middlesbrough's not a big, if any of you've ever been to Middlesbrough, it's not a big place, the town centre. I live just like a quarter of an hour away from like the town centre, so I walk into town practically every day. So I sort of see the changes in the seasons, which a lot of people don't, because I walk past the little park that used to be a cemetery, and this was called Spring Day. Above the damp pavements, the sky lowers like a shroud. Cherry blossoms, their petals falling, faded in puddles like lost dreams. My reflection, like my mind today, wavers and remains insubstantial. Autumn 88. I actually left Middlesbrough for 4 months in 1988. It was quite strange. I moved in with my friend and his girlfriend. It was like a really seriously intense 4 months, and then get a breakdown at the end of it and moved back to Borough. On the day Salvador Dali died. Swings and roundabouts. Autumn 88. While I thought about the sky darkening, contemplating the sight of the sickle moon, you did something strange with your hands, causing the windows of the carriage to blur. I was very into surrealism in 1988. Well, if you've ever been in London, you'll understand that. So, even though there's no reference to Robbie Burns or alcohol, I was an alcoholic. I stopped drinking nearly 8 years ago, so it was like mad, full on, mad, bad, dangerous to no point, drunkard, stopped drinking, what do I do? So it was like, I'll become a local historian. So I've become, absolutely, if you want to know about streets and stuff in Middlesbrough, just come and see me. So unless you don't want pinning into a wall and be explaining the spread of the town like cancer across the country. So I'm also a volunteer in the archives. This is called the archives. Sometimes you'll hear one of the women walking up the stairs to the other floors in search of a map or a plan, and the slap of their feet on the concrete is a timeless thing. So this is called Geek. As you can imagine, it's about myself. But it's also not about me, it's about my friend Paul, who was even geekier than me in some respects, who died in 2017. He wants 25 minutes talking about this brick wall and how he'd walked past it most of his life, and only recently he'd noticed that there was a small circle of bricks at the top, which were different to the rest of the brick, and he was like so excited. I didn't have, I was thinking, I should tell him to bugger off, but I totally understand this excitement. Geek. You know you've got it bad when you're more interested in the houses than the background of the tense police drama and wondering which monarch's name is on the postbox. So as well as publishing me and Harry and Roy, I did a series called Coincidental, where I paired 4 poets, 2 male, 2 female. The first one had me in. Second one's got Harry in, both over there. Only a £6 for 4 poets, you really can't fall. And it's in a beautiful black, it's got a beautiful black cover with blue paper, yes. So, it's on these mornings, cool with the approach of autumn, that you look up in wonderment at the pale sky and realise with a lurch that the swifts have gone and summer is over once more. Dad, lips tight as he says goodbye to his 2 sons on Dinsdale Station, turns and waves halfway up the exit ramp only to find himself forgotten as the 2 boys bend their heads over a phone screen, his wave falling dead. It struck me even more because we went to see my wife's parents who were over from America and they stayed the night in a hotel in Manchester and paid for support, and she fell over in the bath and banged her knee, so we'd had it in his sleep. So we had to walk, she was like this, she couldn't bend her leg, and I was like, oh, and I saw this bloke, and I was like, oh my God, no. Yeah. So, the agony of the everyday. But the afternoons are long and can be filled with the drone of an aeroplane descending, its engines louder than the traffic. That this sound has always saddened you, and one day you won't hear it no matter how bright the sun shines. So, I constantly ask this question before this poem, and I'm constantly disappointed in the audience, so I'm hoping you lot are going to, how many of you have read the Chinese poet Tu Fu? Hang on. Tu Fu is he's like medieval Chinese poet, and he's still possibly the most read poet in China today. He's just hunt him out, he's really, really good. So this is dedicated to the American poet Sam Hamill, I won't even bother asking you about, who died in 2008. And he was sort of like my distant poetry father and really lovely bloke. So, Tu Fu. Ice forms a beard round the shoreline of the lake where you float, old man, carrying the snow of many winters in your beard, body nearing the end, ready to leave. Yet there's something warm in the pale blue of the star that keeps the boat from snagging on the oar, and the waves rush on, singing of the Tao, nothing and nothing and nothing. There's a lovely edition of Tufu's works translated by David Hinton, and there's last year a new version of it with a few more translations, so you should check that out, it's really good. So I also don't sleep well at times. I wrote this actually coming out of the archives when normally I come out of the archives and and I was just coming out of the archives and I wrote this. This is where the poems go a bit darker. The last section of the book is called The Hunger House. I'll say the last bit, the dark stuff for last, so you don't actually have to read it. Let me know. There's a crawl space between sleep and dream where the interference from other realities bypasses the filter of the conscious mind. That was one of the worst bouts of insomnia and bad sleep I'd had for 80 years. So a lot of that stuff came out at the time, which was nice. Too close to the sun. When the body is naked, clothed in the light of distant suns, finally made aware of the debt we owe and how we shall repay it, in the darkness of a room together, in the shadow of the act, wishing there was more, measuring each breath we take in, force out again, aware of how much it will cost, waiting for the silence, hearing it creep unnoticed, pinning us to the bed, when all we want to do is sleep, sleep and not wake. So we wrote that in 1998. It's one of the few poems of the 90s I actually show people and read out, mostly because I wrote a lot of them while I was speeding my tits off, and it seemed really good at the time. And when I'm sober, I'm thinking, Anne Sexton?
Yeah.
Yay!
Hey.
Yeah. So this is called Mercy Street, which was I found out about this because of the Peter Gabriel song, a video of which is just absolutely gorgeous and makes me cry every time I see it. I've seen a masculine sort of I'm from Middlesbrough kind of way. So yeah, I'll just make the title. Mercy Street. The days are full of light while I hold back the dark, the rush of painful remembering that would swallow me if I let it. I've pondered my position often and nothing in the end can change it. Even if I receive the benediction I crave, I cannot forgive myself. The days darken and the rain comes, yet still I dream of finding it. Mercy Street, a blind alley down which my hopes get lost. So this last one's called Hunger House. Who knows what a hunger house is? This is, I found out what a hunger house is because it was on one of the plans I was cataloguing. I was like, what the fuck's a hunger house? And it turns out it's I don't know if they still have them now, I'm assuming they do. It's you get the animals before you slaughter them, you put them in the hunger house so that shit out all the bad stuff that's in the stomach, and then you put them into the slaughterhouse next door and kill them. I was going through this really massive period of reflection, and it just sort of seemed an appropriate thing. The hunger house, I was just emptying out all this stuff that had been building up in me for ages. So this is called The Hunger House. This is the last poem in my half of the thing, and references the first poem like a prog rock album or something. Hunger House. Everything is steel. Even the runnels, the deep cuts in the compacted earth serve the transformation. Inside the room is windowless, and what we thought was shadow is now revealed as light. All is shadow and all is light. The difficulties we faced, the ease with which we went. Everything is everything else. Love, hate, the search for meaning, revealed in the hours of waiting.